Okay. So next we're going to have a student panel. So if the students will come up, we have your places all set. All right, so I'll introduce them, and we're going to ask them some questions, and then we'll, at the end, we'll let you ask questions of the students that we may not have touched on. I did send the questions out so they could prepare a little bit, but I might have some other ones that you weren't expecting to. Isn't that mean? So first we have Robert, and he's from Ingham ISD. You're a first-year student?
I am.
First year. What's your high school?
I go to Waverly High School.
Waverly High School, just down the street.
Yes.
And Trevor and I go way back.
Oh, yeah.
So Trevor is our second-year student, goes to Okemos, right, in the Ingham County program. And we have Griffin. Griffin is a college student at Olivet, second year,
Yep.
sophomore. But he also went through the Eaton County program here. Greg was your teacher? No? Oh, okay. So, Carol?
I was Ingham, was at the Capillary Career Center.
Oh,
That was-
that's right, you were with Monique.
Well, that was before Monique. I was with
Yeah.
Amanda Shaw. Who now works at
Okay.
Axton.
Yes, she does. Okay, so, that's right, you were at the Eaton. Okay. But now he is at the college, so he'll be giving us a college perspective. And we have Megan. Megan is a first-year student at Eaton County, right?
Yep.
And what's your home school?
Lakewood.
Lakewood. Okay. So welcome, students. You're going to do about insurance.
Yes. Since about middle school, I told my dad that I wanted to go in insurance and then do exactly what he did, but be more successful. Hopefully one day, that might be, but you never know.
That's a good goal.
I did not actually know about insurance. I just knew that people complained about it all the time. And like I didn't even know what it was. So it's been a learning curve.
I did not consider a career in insurance at all before this. I knew, like, it was on the radar, but it was not something I was interested in, because I had a friend, Justin Maidlow. I believe he goes to Olivet now for the insurance program. Yeah. And he told me, like, that he also attended the Eaton program. Yeah. And he told me that it was, a thing. And so I thought, oh, hey, I guess people actually do that kind of thing. And then, after the visit, I was like, wow, this will turn out to be well.
Okay, so I know the first year students haven't been in the program that long, but so far, what is the best part of the program? What do you like best about it?
I like meeting with the industry professionals and getting that actual, hands-on type of thing. Because in school, you learn math and whatnot, and that's all great because it'll prepare you for the future. But in this program, we actually go out and we learn directly about the stuff that we want to do, and we meet the people in the field. So, yeah.
Trevor?
So I believe last year we went on, I think, 35 field trips outside of the classroom. Throughout my high school career, I haven't been on a single one yet. So I really enjoyed that part, but part of that really is, you're meeting people and you're getting hands-on, you're learning hands-on, which is better for me because I don't like just reading out of a textbook. So you're meeting people and you're experiencing things, and it's a nicer way to learn. So.
For me, when I was in the program, I did enjoy going on field trips. I didn't go on quite as many back in my day, but I enjoyed going out and meeting a lot of CEOs and people from different companies, and then going to Accident Fund at the time and seeing how happy everyone was and realizing that insurance is fun and people really enjoy it.
So I like being able to come here and learn in like an actual building that's not my school. And I just like the whole atmosphere of it.
And I do want to explain that there are 7 high school programs right now, and every single one of them kind of has a different model. So while the Eaton County program that is housed here at Farm Bureau, those students come here 5 days a week for 2 hours. Whereas the Eaton County class that's held at Wilson Talent Center, which used to be the Career Center, they're mainly housed at the Career Center, and then they go to AF Group for job shadowing and speakers sometimes, so it's a little different. And every program is just a little bit different model, either at the Career Center or at the company or some combination of each. So that is the difference when they're talking about what they do with their programs. So how do you think so far, I know it's early for some of you, but how can the class be made better? Is there anything that you wish you could change about the program?
I actually really like the program. I mean, our professor is great, and just the whole atmosphere of the class is really nice.
You just got extra credit, girl.
Well, when I was in the program, it was a totally different teacher, so I know the program's changed a lot, and I think it's changed for the better. It was in the first year when I was there, so we didn't really go out and do the field trips as much, and we went to some, but I think one of the big things is the networking that Monique does now is the biggest thing that they could do, because meeting people in the industry, I think, is one of the best ways to learn about insurance, because you can read a book all day long, but going out and learning firsthand through job shadowing and meeting people is, I think, the best thing for the programs.
I'm not really sure how to make the class better, but Monique just seems to keep doing it, which is good.
It's a great program. I really enjoy it. We get to meet people, we get to do fun things, and it's in an office type environment. We each have our little cubicle and desks and whatnot, so yeah.
Did you ever go home and talk about insurance with your family, or what you've done in the class, or help your parents understand what they're paying for when they pay their auto insurance?
I do not really help them understand it. They know it pretty well, but I have gone home and talked to them about it and said, hey, I actually know what this means now. And I was looking over the insurance agreement for my car that my parents originally got, and I was looking at it and said, hey, wow, this coverage really sucks.
So my family's probably tired of me talking about insurance at this point, because I just come home every day basically and I talk about what I did in class today, because it's different every day. I actually did look over my parents' insurance policies because I kind of know what's going on a little bit more, and I thought it was kind of interesting.
I talk about insurance all the time. My dad, especially about what's going on in his business, and kind of learn from him, and I think he enjoys it because I actually know a little bit of what he's talking about, and so I've learned a lot through the insurance, let me catch myself here. I have learned a lot about the insurance industry from him, just from our talks when I go home, so it is something that we do all the time.
I do talk about the program a lot. We had Representative Tom Barrett come in on Wednesday, and I was able to talk to my parents about the new laws being passed, or trying to be passed, for the insurance programs.
Okay, so I know you talked about what you liked about the program, but can you tell me something and be a little bit more specific about something that's really interesting to you in the program, whether it's a topic that you've talked about or one of the speakers or something that you've done in the program?
I really like the numbers part of it, like the actuarial part. We haven't talked much about it yet, but I think that's my favorite.
For me, in high school, it was just learning more about insurance, and now in college, it's learning about claims or the agency side, and kind of really digging into more of the specific parts of insurance and kind of figuring out where I'm going to go in my life path.
Me personally, I've really enjoyed learning about underwriting. I think it's interesting, and so that's kind of what I'm looking at.
So it is my first year of the program, and I'm 8 weeks in, and we just finished learning about the unit principles of insurance, so like vocab, basic understanding. But like what really interests specifically, I guess the number side too. I do enjoy that numbers, analytical type stuff, and I'm really looking forward to opportunities later in the year where we learn more about like how to crunch statistics and other things like that.
A lot of numbers people up here. I'm really terrible at math, that's why I went into communications. So, how can we attract, we want your input because you guys chose to come to the class. What advice can you give us how to attract other students to have the same experiences that you're having? How do we get them in the program?
So what you were talking about earlier, sending out more people to talk to the students individually, because sending out flyers and stuff is great, but most students just recycle those. And so you really want to talk to them personally and like send out kids who are experienced with what they do and make it seem like, hey, that's a fun thing to do, instead of this looks like a lot of numbers and a lot of work.
My high school, specifically Oakland High School, is really underrepresented in the Career Center in general, or Wilson Talent Center. And so I think there needs to be greater outreach to the high schools in general, or at least specifically Oakland, because there's like maybe 20 kids out of I think like maybe 800 who could go to the programs, and so there's just not enough people who are interested in it. And how to get them, not too sure. I really do think personally talking to them really helps, and talking about just like how great the need is for people to go into the industry.
I think in a way it's to be flashy. Millennials these days, we see professional sports players, rappers, singers, all these people that just flash everything. They make a lot of money. And for high schoolers, that's pretty much all they care about, is making money one day. And so going in and just saying, like, you can make money doing this, and then talk about how you enjoy it and what you do and the personal experiences that make you go home every day and you're like, wow, I love my job. And kind of show them that, you know, insurance is a practical way to have fun and make some money and just enjoy life.
So talking to people, talking to the students is like the number one thing, I think. But like also showing them how insurance really does help people, and it's like very important.
I just had this great idea. Jim, with his gold beads on, doing a rap video. I'm sitting down, Jim.
Yeah, we want the numbers to go up at that.
Thank you. Those are all great ideas. Trevor, what made you decide to come back for a second year?
Right on the spot. Let's see. There's a lot of reasons. I did want to continue my education. Specifically, like we're going to be getting our license hopefully. My birthday's in 10 days, and so I'll be able to take the licensing exam, and then we're going to be starting to work on designations after that, I believe. And so I just kind of wanted to get kind of ahead of the game, so to speak, against other people who eventually might go into the insurance industry, but I'll have already 2 years of some experience. So that's why I chose to come back for a second year.
So not all the programs have a second year program. The Ingham County program does, the Genesee, Tuscola does have a second year, and they're all doing something a little bit different. So in Tuscola County at Frankenmuth, they're taking a marketing class from Northwood. So actually those students will graduate with 12 credits if they come back. And then they're also doing co-op. So they're getting some job experience. Can you talk a little bit more about what you're doing in the second year in your program, which is INGO?
Yeah, so one of the main things that's slightly different is we're taking a career and educational class through Fair State, which is bringing the credit total to 15, I believe. And then we're taking a virtual business simulation, which has been a wild ride. And through that, we're talking about the hiring and firing and wages and like unions and insurance, about how you need insurance for a business, and so we're doing that. And then, as I said, we're going to be doing our licensing, like touching up on stuff. And then we, since it's a second year program, and there's only 3 of us, we've all kind of chosen different routes of where we want to go. For example, Taylor, who isn't here, wants to do financial planning, so she's doing one of the designations for financial planning. But since I'm curious in underwriting, I'm going to do, I think, CPCU. So yeah, there's lots of things we're doing. It's busy.
Yeah, very busy. So did you feel like the experience that you got in the high school program was beneficial for you in college, and how so?
Yeah, definitely. When I did it, I was able to receive 9 credits from Fair State and then transfer those over to Olivet College. So I'll actually be graduating a full year early because of some other stuff that I'm doing. And for me, it was really nice taking classes as a high schooler, because when I came in, I was able to get started going through just agency classes, claims classes, just kind of diving right in ahead of the other freshmen, and being able to kind of take part in the bigger stuff that all the upperclassmen are taking part in, and kind of just find my way.
And so a lot of us look back and say, oh, we should have done this or we should have done that. So since we have so many high school students here, do you have any advice for them?
I would say if there's a possibility that you can get your AINS, to make sure that you really work for that. I thought I was really working for that. Unfortunately, I didn't get it when I was in high school, so that's kind of a little setback for me. I would have loved to have gotten that in high school, but that's definitely something that I'm still going to be trying to achieve. So focus on that, because the employers out here are definitely going to look and say, oh, he or she has their AINS. So focus on that. Make sure that you're actually taking in the knowledge and the lingo of the industry and paying attention, because it's not just knowing what things are. Everyone will have their own language, and you need to just know what you need to know and everything. So pay attention and just focus on even the little things.
And so, have you ever second-guessed your decision to go into insurance? I mean, you've spent a lot of time pursuing it.
No, I've maybe second-guessed my decisions on what path to take, and then kind of look back and I've said, all right, I'm only a sophomore, so let's maybe focus on something else. But that's the great thing about insurance, is that first I came in and I said, I definitely want to be an underwriter, and then I started paying attention more into the classes, and I said, maybe I want to be an agent, and then all of a sudden I was like, maybe I want to go into claims. So I'm still kind of deciding where I want to go, but that's the great thing, is I mean, pretty much go on and do whatever I want.
And I don't think that's unusual for the insurance students, right, Eric?
Not at all.
Yeah, and you still have time to decide which path to take, so that's great. Okay, so let's go back along and tell me the area of insurance that you are really interested in. If you had to decide now, which you don't, but what area of insurance would you want to pursue as a career?
For me, right now, if I had to make a split-second decision, I would say claims, because you get to go out and talk face-to-face with people, build relationships, and kind of, a lot of times give them a check and say, here you go, I'm going to help you rebuild your lives. Sometimes you do have to give them bad news, but most of the time you get to go out and meet people, and it's never a dull moment.
I would either like to go into underwriting or actuarial science.
I've said it a couple times, but underwriting, I think specifically commercial, but, you know, I still have time.
Probably an actuary. That's, yeah, that's pretty much that's what the tests have said so far too.
I actually think you'll be a good agent. So those are my questions. I'm sure that during the conversation, maybe you've thought of some that you want to ask the students, so we'll take some time to take your questions. Don't be shy.
I'm sorry if I didn't catch this earlier, but have any of you had a chance to work in the insurance industry yet?
I did an internship with Farmers Insurance last year. I was a telemarketer, so I did that. It was pretty interesting. I got to see one of the sides of insurance and realized that maybe I don't want to always be making cold calls. It's not always the most fun thing to do, but you know, it was in insurance, and it was just something that made me see agency as something that I think would be fun.
Yeah. I did job shadows, a couple of them. I actually did do one with you. And then I also went to auto owners, where I did do commercial underwriting for a couple days. And that was, you know, very good for, you know, development and kind of seeing where I want to go in my career potentially.
But you're all open to some job shadows and some internships and all of that, so keep them in mind.
You can throw whatever you want.
Other questions? To be like.
So for the, and I don't know if this is directed to the students, but for the school districts, generally, what year are the students coming into this program? Are they sophomores, freshmen, juniors and seniors?
So, Megan,
I'm a senior.
you're senior, and when you started, you were,
I was a senior, but at Ingham County, a lot of them can be juniors because it's a 2-year program.
Trevor, you came in as.
Yeah, I came in as a junior, and I believe it's just juniors and seniors.
Juniors and seniors. Yeah, we have, I think, in my class of 15, we have, I want to say 5 or 6 seniors. Yeah, and the rest are juniors, so.
When we started the program 6 years ago, right, Jim? What?
This is year 7.
7 years ago. Wow. We never anticipated juniors. You know, we thought that the students that would be interested in the program would be seniors. Well, we didn't know that what the ISDs, of course, market to 10th graders to come their junior and senior year, and a lot of programs are 2-year programs. So that's what happened very quickly. We found we had a lot of juniors, and by the 2nd year program started is because we didn't want to lose those students. We didn't want them to go back to their home schools and get interested in, you know, welding or some other, you know, career choice. We wanted to keep them interested in insurance, and that's why we are starting, most of the 2nd year programs this is like the 1st year of their 2nd year programs. It's because we didn't realize that at the beginning, but we adapted pretty quickly in making sure that we're not losing those students.
Are there any academic requirements other than junior or senior status? Grades or?
Yeah, because our program gets some credits from Ferris that are transferable to other universities, we have to keep a C average in all of our schools. And I believe Wilson Talent Center also requires, what, a C? So passing grades.
Any particular coursework?
We have to take a math class through Wilson, so every Friday we do math. And for the insurance stuff, I know we use 2 different books, the Invest curriculum and Principles of or Foundations of Insurance, and we do the Ferris curriculum as well.
I meant any particular courses to get into this program?
No.
No? Okay, thank you. Sorry.
think somebody else had a question.
This is not really a student question, but I know we don't have an early college program, but I wonder if anyone else is doing an insurance early college program where you get the associate's degree in 3 years. Is that? Not yet. Not yet.
Some of them are working on it, but none are about it yet. Other questions for the students?
I
Okay.
don't have that. One of the spots I think we all struggle in, everybody is pushed to try to identify insurance as a career path for students. I wonder, each of you, what should we do to help parents understand the benefits of a career in insurance? And how can we help get parents to steer students towards some of those opportunities?
I think if you basically tell parents just how successful their kids can be within the industry, I think that definitely helps parents. Because last year I was one of the main people who presented our class to 10th graders, and every so often, very rarely, but we would have a parent or two come in, and almost always they would come up to me afterwards and they were like, "Oh, thank you for telling us about this, because I had no idea there's like such a huge need for jobs and people in the industry." And so I think just basically telling them that there's lots of money, there's lots of jobs, and that they can be successful is important.